Senator, first of all, thank you for your time this afternoon. Your chamber yesterday passed resolutions of disapproval of President Obama's new regulations on coal-fired power plants. The president has promised, of course, to veto those measures if they reach his desk. So why pass them?
Well, you know, President Obama has basically declared war on Kentucky. He's declared war on Kentucky coal, and we've been fighting him every step of the way. We want everybody in Kentucky to know that President Obama is really trying to destroy our economy. We're trying to stop him, and we've put this legislation forward with a small hope that he wouldn't veto them, but also if he does veto them, that people will know in the next election that anybody associated with President Obama should not represent Kentucky. And so it is a matter of putting forward what we believe in, and I'm going to do everything I can to stop him from killing the jobs in the coal mines in Kentucky. And this is a big deal. The other thing that I think is a big deal is that he wants to bring more people from the Middle East that he's going to put on welfare in our country. Those are people that will absorb resources that many people in our state need. And so I think it's a big mistake for the president to be admitting all these new people from the Middle East. I think it's a danger to our country.
On that note, Senator, if you would, discuss your amendment to block taxpayer benefits for new refugees from high-risk countries.
I'm getting ready to go from here to the floor of the Senate, and I'm going to put forward an amendment that says we will not provide government assistance to new refugees who come to this country. And the goal is to try to block the president from bringing more people from the Middle East. You know, I'm very aware of the danger of some of these people. In Bowling Green, where I live, we allowed 2 Iraqi refugees to come a couple years ago, and then they tried to buy Stinger missiles to attack us. Fortunately, we caught them. But when we caught him, we discovered that we actually already had the fingerprints of one of them on a bomb fragment from Iraq. So he was in our data system. We just didn't do anything about it. We didn't bother to do the adequate vetting. So when President Obama says, oh, these are widows and orphans, some of them are, but I'm not convinced that he knows who all of them are and that he's doing an adequate job in going through and vetting these people to make sure they're not a danger to our country. There are 1 million students visiting our country from other countries. 150,000 of those students are from the Middle East. My question to the president, does he know they're all in school? Are they all obeying the rules? Are they all going home when their visa is over and their studies are over? I don't think he has a clue. And I don't think people have a clue as to where the 11 million people are in our country who came illegally. Until we have a better handle on who came here illegally, where they are, and what we're going to do about it, I don't think we should be admitting new people from the Middle East.
How concerned are you that an act of terror like the one that happened in Paris could happen here on American soil soon?
Extremely concerned, and that's why I don't want to dilly-dally around with this. I want to pass something as soon as we can to say we're putting a stop to this. We're not letting people come in, and particularly coming in and putting them on welfare. A second part of my bill says to countries like France, where many of the people that were part of this attack were French citizens, that if a French citizen wants to visit America, they're going to have to come in through something called global entry. Global entry is a frequent flyer program where you do a background check. I think at the very least, everybody that visits our country needs to come through that program, because otherwise, I think some of these same French citizens that are attacking the government and their people, I think they're going to get on a plane and come and attack our country. So we need to be very, very cautious and careful about who we let come to visit, study, or immigrate, or to come as refugees.
Senator, does the United States need boots on the ground as part of its strategy to defeat ISIS?
I think the boots on the ground ought to be Arab boots on the ground. I think that a lasting victory or a lasting peace over there will only come when the Arab nations rise up. Now, we can be of assistance. I've been for selling arms directly to the Kurds to allow them to fight. I've been for the aerial bombardment. But I think the boots on the ground ultimately have to be Arab boots on the ground, because they're never going to accept either Americans or Christians or Europeans. They're never going to accept us as occupiers. And so once the battle is won, if it's us there, we're a continued target. And then people say, oh, we need to stay forever. The bottom line is we need allies on the ground from people who live there. Saudi Arabia needs to step up. Jordan step up. Iraq needs to step up, Syrians need to step up, but those who believe in an Islam that is peaceful and doesn't believe in beheading women and children and Christians, Those people need to rise up and say that ISIS doesn't represent our religion, and we're going to rout them out and defeat them. Absolutely. That's what needs to happen, but not American boots on the ground. I think it should be Arab boots on the ground.
Senator, final question. How long do you plan on staying in the presidential race, and what realistically at this point do you think your chances are of winning the GOP nomination?
Well, we won't know until people vote, so obviously we'll be in through the election. The polls have shown that the polls aren't very accurate. You know, we had several polls in Kentucky, and they showed Matt Bevin losing by 5. He won by 8. So the polls 1 week before the election were off by 13 points. If we think any of the polls are off by 13 points, it's a toss-up now. We think we're right in the battle. We think we have every chance of winning. We intend to fight to win, and we'll see how it turns out when the votes come forward.
All right, Senator Rand Paul speaking to us from our nation's capital. Senator, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.